So there's that. The Sixers declined to say why her performance was canceled, saying only we use our games to bring people together, to build trust, and to strengthen our communities. Max, what's your reaction?
I find that a problematic statement from the Sixers. That's a problem for me. We matter is somehow divisive. We matter doesn't bring people together. I'm an American, and I'm a human being. And if a group of Americans, forget about ongoing oppression, people want to debate that, whatever. If a group of Americans are suffering the effects, the lasting effects of oppression in our history, I mean, that's indisputable. No one disputes that. If a group of Americans and people are suffering that, and a member of that group wears a shirt that says, "We matter," that somehow excludes me or is divisive or doesn't bring people together. The only people that alienates or doesn't bring together is people of bad faith and bad will. I fail to see in any way how the Sixers statement isn't controversial and offensive. I'm offended by it. I don't wear a "We Matter" shirt, no, and I'm not African American, and I'm not a woman. But if she wants to wear that, "We Matter" is now a problem because it alienates people of bad faith who happen to be also paying customers. That's outrageous. I find that outrageous.
I find it outrageous that the Sixers had a problem, the specific problem that they had with it. What I don't find outrageous is their decision not to let her sing the national anthem. It's perfectly within their right to do so. And we have to put on our big boy pants and whatever else we wear and start accepting the reality of certain situations. Yes, you want to go there and sing the national anthem. It is entirely possible that the Sixers are saying, well, if we allowed that to happen, then we have to allow somebody wearing a shirt that Black Lives Matter to sing the national anthem. And we have to allow. No. I'm just saying, even though I would disagree with it, I wouldn't like it, rather, I would still respect their right to do that. I am an individual organization. The NBA is not a public industry. It's a private industry. They have the right, under the umbrella of the National Basketball Association, to enforce rules and regulations that they deem beneficial to their overall bottom line.
Have the right to do it.
I got it. I understand that. What I'm saying to you is that if they're sitting there and they're saying, we're going to eradicate any kind of political statement from being made in our venue at the singing of the national anthem, they have a right to do it. They have a right to do it.
Let me tell you why
that
argument fails, because that's not the argument they made. If the Sixers' statement, I'm reacting to their statement, not just her saying they won't let me do it, was, look, social and political issues can be a slippery slope, the way the NFL doesn't let you even do a cancer awareness thing, because who knows what the next statement will be. And we don't want... I could live with that. Okay, I could live with that.
But that's the point I was making.
That's the point you were making.
Right.
That's not the point they made. They didn't make the slippery slope argument. The argument they made is a shirt saying "We Matter" is somehow divisive, alienates some people. And what I'm saying is...
It does, though.
Forget those people. You are putting... Look, I know a business is amoral. Not immoral, amoral. It's not about morality. It's about making money. But in a league and with franchises that talk about how they care and they work with the community and all those things, I think you have to give a little more consideration not only to the bottom line, but to occasionally doing the right thing. And they're pandering to people of bad will and bad faith if those people are alienated by a "We Matter" shirt.
You can say that. I disagree with that part. At the end of the day, if your bottom line is for patrons to come and enjoy the game and to make sure no political statements...
Then say that.
I'm just saying. They could have articulated their position better, but there is no question in my mind that they have not only do they have a right to do it, I can understand where they're coming from in terms of not wanting that to happen. You know how much of a privilege it is for any kind of artist to sing the national anthem at a venue. It's something that a lot of them clamor to do. So while you've gotten that opportunity to do so, I'm not saying that the young lady did anything wrong. I'm simply saying that if the Sixers sit up there and say, That's not something they want.
If they said love your neighbor, if they said love your neighbor, would that be bad?
Now they're going to have a dress code then to dictate artists what they can't wear.
You also have to take into consideration, we are talking about the city of Philadelphia, which is as blue collar as it gets, and you never know what level of fear comes attached with political statements being made if they find it disagreeable. If you are an organization that doesn't want to find yourself in the middle of that, and you are supported by a private industry that gives you the cachet and the muscle to take that position, you have a right to do it.
Be nice to people. She could have been wearing, be nice to people. It's almost the same thing as saying we matter.
I agree with you. I'm not
Don't discriminate
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying
be a good person, not a bad person.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I understand where they're coming from, and you as an individual,
they should hire you to release their statements then because they didn't do a good job.
We got to go to break.
You got to understand it.
All right, we got to go to break. When we come back.
And they're chanting, trust the process, in a nod to Sam Hinkie, who was the general manager here.
So it was an exciting opening game for 76ers fans last night. Despite losing to the Thunder, fans fired up to see the #3 overall pick from the 2014 draft, Joel Embiid, finally making his NBA debut. The crowd chanting, trust the process, something Sixers former general manager Sam Hinkie had been begging fans to do while the team went through a rebuild. Stephen A., your reaction to fans chanting, trust the process?
I was incredibly annoyed. For those out there that may need to be reminded of, long before, I'm here on First Take and, an NBA analyst for ESPN and hosting my own radio show on Mad Dog Sports Radio and all of that.
You're going to be doing a fight? You're calling a fight?
I'll be calling a fight November 5th, calling the Manny Pacquiao fight, my first ever color commentary on a boxing match. I was a journalist for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Prior to that, the New York Daily News. I've been I was in print journalism for 19 years. I was at the Philadelphia Inquirer for nearly 17 years. I covered every day of Allen Iverson's first 10 years in the NBA, every single game, every day. I know this city. It's a phenomenal city. And listening to those chants last night, as much of a great sports town that I just said Philadelphia is, and has been, this annoyed me beyond measure. Because what this organization, specifically Sam Hinkie, did to this city is an atrocity. And I don't care what anybody says. The fact that this man gets to hide and not be front and center, to get interviewed, to have to answer for the things that he did, to me is criminal. Now, I will openly confess something that I've never confessed on national television. I believe that I had, at least in a small way, something to do with the arrival of Jerry Colangelo and ultimately his son, Brian Colangelo, being in Philadelphia. And I'm going to tell you why. Because very few people were harder on the Sixers organization than me. I spoke to the commissioner about it. I spoke to league officials about it. I spoke to members of the Sixers organization about it. They know who the hell they are because they're very influential within the organization. What was being done to the city of Philadelphia was one of the biggest atrocities we have ever seen in sports. Now, certainly when things go wrong and there's an injury here or there, Max, you might tank a season. You're the Spurs, you want to get Tim Duncan #1 in the draft and stuff like that. I get that part, okay? But Max, they tanked seasons. 18 wins, 19 wins, 10 wins, all under Sam Hinkie. He refused to spend money, wasn't willing to draft veterans or bring veterans on the roster, trying to win basketball games. It is one thing to lose, but it is one thing to be so alarmingly inept that you literally sat back and asked a city, wait, eventually, we're going to get there. So in the meantime, why not just stink up the joint for years? For years, while charging them ticket prices to pay to watch that horrible product that they put forth there. There is no, who the hell can't do that job? I can quit right now and do the job that Sam Hinkie did, because you're giving me the license to throw seasons. I understand that he was very adroit with the cap and in terms of the plays that you bring and save them. I get all of that because you got a capologist to help you do that and an analytics dude with the numbers. I'm not knocking him for that. I am saying to you that no matter what he did that was good, he flagrantly was willing to sacrifice even to give the impression of trying to win games in order to do it. For years is my issue. You do it for one, that's fine. But when you're tanking seasons, it can't get much worse for sports than that. And oh, by the way, it was nice to see Joel Embiid last night. He played well. You got a product like him. Look at the guards you had around him. I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, first of all, the reason they're chanting trust the process,
he said trust the process.
Because Embiid.
Yes.
And they're excited about Embiid, the fans there, and Embiid said trust the process, and look what happened with the process with Embiid. You took him third, his draft stock
He's been
was a little
out for
low
2 years.
because he's hurt, but he may be a franchise-changing player, and they had the patience to draft him.
Would you draft somebody in basketball and wait 2 years for them to get on the court?
At number 3 overall,
3 years?
you cannot pass on Joel Embiid. You couldn't pass on him. He was too good.
I'm just asking you a question. You're going to draft somebody. I'm going to draft somebody in 2013, knowing they ain't going to play before 2016.
Sure. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about Sam Hinkie for a second.
Go ahead.
The reason he did all those things is because he's smart. He is not the smartest guy in the room, but he is smart.
He is smart.
There are those who could have done what he did and made progress more quickly and also fielded a more competitive product, I believe.
That's what I'm saying.
That's possible. But just because you didn't hit the optimal thing you could have done doesn't mean you didn't do a good thing. Remember that 13-page letter he wrote when he resigned?
I read it start to finish.
I found that tone-deaf and self-congratulatory.
Yes.
However, there was lots of good stuff in it, and here were the two best things. You have to have a tolerance of uncertainty, and you have to be long science. You know, you don't short a stock, you're long on a stock. It means you keep it, you believe in it. He had a tolerance for uncertainty, and he was long science. He trusted the process. Now, he didn't bring it all together, not under his auspices, because the franchise got fed up with him and they lost patience, and maybe because it's people like Stephen A. Smith, maybe Stephen A. Smith himself, who accelerated that. And maybe that's not a good thing.
I'm not going to lie to you. I begged them to get rid of him. Begged them. Begged them.
And maybe that's not a good thing.
For at least
look
a
at
year.
The Sixers. Look at the Sixers right now. Unlike a franchise like the Knicks that was actually trying to be good and stunk on ice anyway for year after year after year, or when they are good, they're just mediocre, the Sixers have an extremely bright future. Not only a ton of great draft picks going forward, cap space flexibility, great young talent on the roster.
I'm not questioning any of that.
They got players stashed in Europe. So look, just because it didn't all come together yet, that makes him having done a terrible job?
Max, I was very, very clear in what I said. I said 19, 18, and 10 wins. Wait a minute. It's one thing to be that bad. It's another thing entirely when you're intentionally trying to be while charging the paying customer. It got so bad, Max.
That's where we disagree.
Listen, it got so bad, Max, that the commissioner got involved, had conversations, and ultimately the ownership for the Philadelphia 76ers brought Jerry Colangelo in because they said, my God, you can't ask one of the top 5 markets in the United States of America to sit idly by. Listen,
I want to address this. Wait, you brought up a lot of stuff. I want to address it.
That wasn't a lot. That's a very simple point.
That goes to the integrity of the game.
Right.
When you're tanking. However, that's not the GM's fault that the rules incentivize a smart person to tank.
Max,
that's why there was
Max,
so much
you should
talk
be ashamed
about
of yourself.
redoing the way we draft.
Listen, we're not
in the NBA.
Time out. Let's be clear. Your point is clear. My point is clear. I'm saying you should be ashamed of yourself.
No.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Wait.
Max,
this is the point.
Shameful.
This is the point, and you brought it up.
Max.
You brought it up. You said if you're trying to win and you stink, that's okay. Wrong. You would much rather be a team of a. Wait.
Guys, we're taking a break, but we're coming back to this. Finish your last point.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You would
seriously.
much rather.
You should be ashamed. Don't you